facets. Sometimes it's called imperialism.
Yeah.
We say we answer, we claim, we understand that. Sometimes it's called capitalism. These are all institutions of white supremacy. We don't deny that any of this exists. Yeah? But understand that these are aspects of white supremacy.
Same level, that's right.
They are tentacles of white supremacy. They might call themselves the Democratic Party.
That's right.
They might call themselves the Republican Party. They might call themselves the Labour Party. Hell, they might call themselves liberals. They call themselves all kinds of names. They come in all shapes and sizes. And they answer to all kinds of fancy names. Still white supremacy. The good ship Jesus was white supremacy. And then there was some called integrity, brotherhood, blessed assurance.
Right. Jesus is mine.
Jesus is mine. But it was still white supremacy.
That's right.
You all with me?
Yeah.
It's important that we understand the African aspect of the Omowale Malcolm X legacy, and even more important that we understand why the African aspect of his legacy is being undermined.
That's right.
It is important, brothers and sisters, that when we see a Barack Obama rising up in American politics, this meteoric rise.
From where?
Exactly.
And to where?
Through the tears of the American political system that excites us as African people because we're so hungry. You know, to see black people move on. That they know that in the eyes of the majority of our people, to see a quote-unquote black man up there presents itself as a symbol of progress, of racial progress in America. America is desperate to redeem itself after Iraq. Don't we understand that?
Tell the truth.
She has no credibility
Tell the truth.
anymore on earth.
No.
Everybody's seen her open and naked in her viciousness, in her wickedness. Everybody knows now that the President of America, like the Prime Minister of Britain, lied to justify the war. Everybody knows that now. So nobody has respect for America anymore. Nobody trusts America anymore.
That's right.
In fact, something happened recently that would have shook up the white supremacist, the global white supremacist establishment. The EU-Africa Summit.
EUA.
The EU-Africa or EU-AU Summit that happened in Lisbon, Portugal at the end of last year. That was delayed by some 3 or 4 years because Britain in particular and European governments in general refused to attend because Mugabe was going to be there. And they told Africa that they must refuse to accept Mugabe as part of the summit or they're not coming. So the African governments, for the first time, stood up on principle with all their shortcomings, with all their imperfections. They did one thing good for a change.
Tell the truth.
They stood up and told that white supremacist beast,
That's right. The hell with you.
go to hell with you.
That's right.
Mugabe will come to the summit or there'll be no summit at all. No, knowing that Europe is desperate to get round the round table with Africa. Because China
That's right.
is on the rise.
That's right.
And China is moving to assert its imperialism on the world.
That's right. And Africa.
And therefore, fundamentally, seeking to control the resources of Africa. Because whoever African people will rule the world.
That's true.
Look at history. Look into your history. Whoever controls Africa, that means the resources of the land and the genius of the African mind. Whoever controls that rules the world. And Europe understands that. So they have to humble themselves. And who didn't come to the summit? Brown. Gordon Brown looked like a fool. Not coming to the summit. And then him send some woman called Baroness Amos with her short skirt.
A little brain.
Yeah. And some might say pea brain.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't say it to be insulting.
Baron. Shit.
Yeah, with a barren title. She went to Lisbon. Yeah, in place of Brown. But Mugabe was there. And Al-Kabalan was there. Trust me. Brother Olatunji have a story or two to tell.
Not true, right? We see it for the news, you know? We see it for TV.
I mean, look at the brothers. That's the brothers. Look at the brothers. They probably talked about some money about some minutes. There is some resemblance here. So you have to see with them. 10-9 man. Yeah? We made the news. Yes. We're all over the Portugal TV. We had called, text, and phone call from headquarters saying you're on TV. What's going on? Chief officer of the politics department and the editor chief of the world with So Europe is desperate. When you see them having to humble themselves and come to the table with Mugabe at the table and said to their own brother,
Yes, sir.
well, if you don't come, we'll have to leave you behind. You know they're worried about something.
That's right.
You all hear me? Yeah. And then all of a sudden we hear about Kenya.
Yeah, just so.
Yes, sir. Civil war.
That's bust out.
And one. We don't call it tribal war. We dealt with it on Voice of Africa Radio. You must tune in to Voice of Africa Radio, brothers and sisters. Because we deal with all of this stuff. All of this stuff.